Hey viewers, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. Let's go.
Story 1. Caught my GF cheating. I 29M met this girl 29F 15 months ago. We ended up becoming exclusive about 6 weeks in. At first she seemed amazing. We had so much in common, from what we wear to how we live, workout, etc. I fell for her hard. Then the red flags started showing up, and I ignored them at first, but they always sat in the back of my mind. The first few times I met her, she told me how both of her parents killed themselves and she has no family. She would tell almost everyone this very soon after meeting them, which I thought was really weird. Then she told me about her shitty past relationships and how she got divorced last year and he was a pos. Another red flag is she was never the bad one in the relationship. About 3 months in, I pushed her to taper off her SSRIs, big mistake on my end. She ended up spiraling out of control, was irritable about everything, cold, numb, told me she couldn't feel much. It was very hard. We got into a big fight shortly after, almost over nothing. I think it was her imbalanced neurochemicals that really drove this fight. That night after the fight she had a wedding and I decided to give her space. I went to a bar by her place with some friends where I caught her at a bar after the wedding with a guy. When she saw me she looked like she saw a ghost, guilty AF. I texted her, "Really X?" To which she replied, "Yeah, nice to see you out and not tell me." I was furious. I went home and sent a breakup text saying I know a cheater when I see one and that I'm not investing any more time, money, or energy into her. Over the next few days I really started missing her and reached out to her. We ended up reconciling and she told me that she went to meet up with some people from the apartment complex after the wedding. I believed her and forgave and told her I'm looking for a life partner I can trust with my life, to which she agreed. I told her there will be no second chance if something like that happens again and she needs to avoid situations like that look bad. Things got much better for the next few months. We became much stronger, I think in part because she finally adjusted to her tapering. Fast forward a couple of months and I find out she's pregnant. I said, "WTF, how?" because I don't ever remember finishing inside. She got livid for me asking that. Her hormones were all over the place during the abortion I paid for. It got very rocky. After the abortion was over she told me she also started tapering during the abortion even more, and I got pissed as to why she would not tell me that. This is a partnership and I need to know stuff like this that affects us. She wanted me to move in because I was going to move to her apartment complex with a friend before I met her. I said maybe it's not a good idea and we should wait, but she persisted saying we'd save money and always be hanging out anyways. Stupidly I moved in and it was good for a week, but then everything I did annoyed her. I couldn't even ask simple questions like if she's eaten at a certain restaurant without her getting offended, highly irritable. She was just miserable all around, and this is what leads me to believe she's bipolar and taking SSRIs for that and not depression like she originally said. Around Christmas I noticed her acting sketchy. I saw a text pop up on her phone driving home from my parents on Christmas and asked her about it and she got very nervous. A couple days later we had been fighting a lot and I said to her, maybe we need to accept the fact that we aren't compatible, which really upset her. I was giving her the option for us to split and she wouldn't take it because I was miserable and at my wit's end. I was exhausted dating her. The highs were amazing but the lows were horrible, which I think are her depressive stages of bipolar, and it's when she's depressed that she needs validation from other guys and cheats, I noticed. The day before I dumped her she went to a bar with a friend on Thursday and I got mad when she didn't text me till almost 10. She of course flipped it on me saying I should have asked her where she was instead of getting mad and made me feel horrible about getting upset about that. After that fight she slept on the couch that night. And this is where she first started texting her ex-husband that I am aware of. That next day she had planned on taking me on a date. We had a talk before the date. I laid it on the table that I can move out and we can work on the relationship or we can split, and asked her what she wanted to do. She didn't say much of anything. We ended up going on that date. Everything seemed awesome. I made her cry with a lovey speech I gave her about how I know things have been hard but we can work on this and I want us to be together. We get home and she passes out drunk. I couldn't find my phone so I grab hers to use the flashlight and decide to open her messages. The first thread is from her ex-husband talking about how she misses him and I gaslight her and make her feel worthless. Then the sex talk. And she was texting him during our date. Now I am not perfect but I was far from horrible to her. I did so much for her and it was never enough. After I found those messages I screenshotted them and sent them to myself and deleted them and then took my dogs and slept at my friend's without telling her. I wake up to an old sex video being sent to her from my text messages with a girl from years ago that I guess I forgot about. She had went into my iPad and sent it to herself to try and find dirt on me. She couldn't find anything. I was 100% faithful. Stuff like this blows my mind because she was always very insecure about girls I had a past with and I found it very unattractive because I was always very secure. I guess I just don't understand how cheaters are so worried about getting cheated on and know how much it would destroy them and yet they are doing just that. It makes me think they are very poorly developed adults basically still at the emotional level of a teenager. I drive back to the apartment to make her delete the video. It's 6 a.m. and she's just laying in bed watching Netflix with this disgusting look on her face, deer in headlights, like she's been busted. She doesn't say anything. I said, "Do you really not have anything to say?" To which she replies, "What do you want me to do? Beg for you back?" I said, "Holy asterisk 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 asterisk, how about an apology like a normal asterisk 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 person?" I then proceeded to tell her ex-husband's girlfriend who he was cheating on with her and is 1 week out from having his baby. She thanks me profusely, then calls me and tells me all about my ex, how she's a serial cheater and cheated her whole marriage with multiple guys. At this point I am so disgusted that I even dated a person like that. I tell her I know everything and she just continues to lie and I am just so embarrassed about who she is as a person and how poorly she's handling this. She continues to try and flip it on me. I tell her I'm moving the asterisk 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 out but not when and that I need time. For the next few days she is a complete asterisk 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 asterisk, coming home late like she's going out even though she has no friends and slamming doors to wake me up to let me know she's getting back so late, hiding stuff that I use when she knows I don't have most of my stuff unpacked from my old house yet. I told her to stop acting like a child till I leave but of course she doesn't. She even hacked my Instagram and accepted her own follow request after she decided to unfollow me. Super weird, don't understand this one. I told her I need 2 weeks to stay to find a new place. I didn't. I was getting the keys that day. As soon as she left for work I grabbed my new keys, had my 2 friends move my stuff into the apartment directly above her. She wanted me to move to another complex but I told her screw that, I'm not leaving this apartment complex where me and my dogs are extremely happy because you want to run from your past. She sold her bed to my friend and we were sleeping in mine, so when I left she came back to no bed and a pretty empty apartment. This is what confuses me. It's like she had no plan and was living day to day. Why would she ask me to move in and sell her bed and then cheat 3 weeks later? At this point I can't believe I dated such a childish person and am embarrassed about it. I have now been moved out for 2 weeks and have had good days and bad days. My mind constantly races thinking she probably had sex with a few guys when she dated me too and is just lying about it. It keeps me up at night sometimes and I hate it. When I asked her if I need to get tested she replied with, "Do I need to get tested?" to which I laughed profusely. I also don't even think the baby was mine anymore. She said the baby was 6 weeks old and I did some digging and she was on a work retreat 6 weeks prior. She said I probably got her pregnant after a show we went to that was only 4 weeks prior. I'm not sure how accurate they are with how old the fetus is. I think she had been going through my phone for a while reading messages to my friends about how I was frustrated with the relationship and not sure if it was going to work, and I think that might have made her insecure and why the last few weeks were so bad. She didn't feel secure in the relationship or safe with me and she kept saying that. She probably felt like I was going to leave her, when in actuality she was self-sabotaging the relationship by being insecure, literally causing her own demise. Within that one day she ruined our relationship. Her ex-husband blocked her and won't talk to her again. All of my friends that became her friend won't talk to her ever again. She doesn't have friends of her own, which I thought was weird, but it makes sense now. My family won't talk to her and she has no family of her own. It brings me joy knowing she has no one after I found out how shitty she is. I imagine this is much harder for her than it is for me, considering she lost way more while I gained independence. My own apartment and all my friends and family have been here for me, while the only people that I imagine are there are few and far between, and of course only because she painted me as the bad guy. It really just sucks to see a person you once thought so highly of repeat their past mistakes that got her into a horrible situation like she didn't learn and never will. I'm just astonished she was willing to risk so much. She finally had a decent life and friends here and she threw it all away with nothing to show for it. I want to recover from this and be stronger, but I worry I am going to have trust issues. I am so disappointed in who she turned out to be. She presented herself as someone with much better morals than she actually has. It was like as soon as she was caught her mask came off and I saw the real her and it was hideous. I told her I was disgusted. I even dated her, and this is why she's divorced and has no friends. I felt violated letting someone like that into my life and introducing her to my friends and family. I don't want to have trust issues in my future relationships. I have always felt secure in my relationships and never felt the need to go through a girl's phone until this one. I imagine most girls aren't this manipulative and deceptive, but right now I know I would have trust issues. I just want to get back to my confident, trusting, loving self. It sucks to see such a shitty person can do this to someone with a good heart. Everything felt like a lie. I know I am way better off without her. I dodged a massive bullet and got out much cleaner and quicker than her ex-husband. It's the cheating that is bothering me the most. I feel like she did way more than I know of, and I'm mad at myself for not listening to the red flags and not finding out sooner. And not knowing the full truth bothers me. I'm also disgusted that there's people out there that feel the need to cheat as soon as the relationship gets rocky. Clearly she needed validation from other guys due to her own insecurities, and it sucks to see that that's who she is, because I thought so much higher of her and I am extremely disappointed. I have begun moving on but just needed to vent. Thank you to anyone who reads my story. I hope I can look back at this post in a year and laugh about this, similar to how I do with another shitty ex I have. If anyone has any advice or tips, I would love to hear them. As of now I have been working out religiously, decided to quit drinking and many other bad habits. I have been making new friends at my new complex too, which I find funny because she has not been able to make any friends here despite living here for a year. Story 2. Wife says she is not married and dating with other guys in her academy. So, I'm 24, a very private person, and I hate posting about myself, even pictures. But I just want at least one human to know what, well, I don't know how to describe it. And even as I'm writing this I realize how attention-seeking and desperate the first sentence looks. But I just want someone, at least one person, to know. I can't talk about this with anyone I know because I don't want to shame my wife, 25F. Not with friends, colleagues, or even my own father, because everyone knows her and respects her deeply. We've been married for 4 years. We met in university, got married by the 5th semester. And being so young there was a bit of financial struggle, but we deeply loved each other. My wife had clinical anxiety and depression, and she used to say that although it doesn't go away, there's relief and peace in my arms. But well, a bit of background: in my country there's an exam each year for appointments to top and most authoritative bureaucratic offices. It was my dream since I was in college, and I encouraged my wife to do so too because she didn't feel any sort of purpose, but she hated not doing anything. So I said, why not attempt the test together? Well, I got in an accident and couldn't take the exam. My wife did and passed and got the appointment. So she went to the training academy, which lasts for 3 years. And there, on an assignment, she met a guy. 3 days of work, and on the 4th a deeply intimate conversation where he asked her to become a couple. She's very beautiful, my wife, and I'm average. For time to time if we got into a fight she would usually say I'm not even good looking. Coming back, she wasn't going to tell me about the conversation, it's just that coincidentally I had watched a movie in which there was an affair and it was treated as if not a big thing. It irked me, so I asked her you'd tell me if something like that happened and that I would want to know. So hours after the conversation when I was sleeping she texted me saying what if it was something less than going to full way. I couldn't understand, so I asked her what she meant and she said I know what she means. And she was being very cryptic during the entire conversation. And when I got an idea what she meant when it hit me, I asked her to give me a straight answer but she wouldn't. She still kept being cryptic and asked me why do I think she's being cryptic. I said maybe you're trying to spare me pain or spare yourself the guilt. And she said it's neither and that she doesn't feel any guilt or care about my feelings. The most she answered was that it was a colleague but she wouldn't call him a colleague and that the conversation was like the one we used to have. I asked her to tell me about the conversation and his name. She refused on the name front but eventually relented on the conversation bit, and I learned that she hadn't told anyone that she's married and that in that conversation that guy even asked her if she has ever been in a true relationship and she replied yes, thinking about us as that relationship. Not knowing what to do I told her to leave the academy and go to her parents but she refused to do so, saying that she hated it there. I begged her from 7 in the morning till 2 in afternoon to do so but she flat out told me she won't do that. I still loved her and for some reason didn't feel mad but only hurt, such indescribable pain. Like my stomach was churning and my heart was being squeezed and my lungs weren't getting any air. So kept begging her to leave the premises, not actually leave her appointment. But she wouldn't. I also begged her to text the guy she was married but she wouldn't do that either, saying what would people think of her if she did because she had told them she wasn't. Eventually I stopped texting her and feeling the pain constantly getting worse I was about to do something that I will not say. I got a text from her asking why was I still trying to be with her. So I told her that my love for her was true. The words I said about never leaving her, always being there for her, weren't superficial, they were real. She just shoved them right back into my face, that why am I not with her now? I tried to explain that I'm not allowed in the academy and that my job is on the opposite end of the country, but she still stated her point that I drove her to this. Finally, when I said I'm done, I don't want to talk anymore, she asked me to come see her, that she wanted to see me one last time. At first I refused, saying that she didn't do anything. I said that she neither left the place nor told the guy she was married. And that if she wanted me to come she must do at least one thing. She refused to do so and insisted if I wanted to save the relationship I must come. And that it's up to me. Feeling a bit of hope left, I went spending most of my savings. I picked the earliest flight and booked the fanciest place for us to meet. I stayed there for a week and in the first 2 days she agreed to stay with me but refused to tell the guy she was married. On the third day I exhausted her into doing so, and immediately after he read the message she changed and said she's leaving me because I made her do something she didn't want to. And that I ruined her reputation. However, I wouldn't quit. I was adamant that unless I get the papers I won't stop trying. I loved her still. And by the 6th day she agreed to stay. And hasn't been even a whole month since the incident, and after that week she has become very remorseful and apologizes to me every day. And she said that it was all because of her mental condition, that she had become indifferent and stuff. And that she doesn't even remember what happened that week or what she said, or how could she have become so vile and disgusting. Those are her words, vile and disgusting, not mine. Anyway, that stuff comes up from time to time and it's from my side mostly because I tell her that I'm unable to comprehend what happened, and if she can explain anything, at least one thing. Her training is still going on. She did eventually offer to quit, but it gives her purpose and I don't want her to suffer. She's still my darling wife. But the image of her is that Meatloaf song, good and pure and white, and where she went there always follows light. This image has been completely shattered. I've told her this and she has said that she truly loves me and doesn't know how things came to this point and that she'll never leave. She's wants me to come again, and ever fearful of her leaving I'll go. I'll probably lose my job over this, but I'll go. Anyway, I don't want any advice regarding not risking my job or leaving her or anything. My mind's made up and I still love her dearly. All I want is to be heard. So please, if you could just indicate in any way that you've heard me is enough. And I know she didn't go all the way with the affair and there are people there whose spouses do. All I know is the pain. So even just one dot from one person works. I just need one person, that's all, just one person, an actual human being, to know that I'm hurting.